Yeah, so to introduce a couple of people who are coming in as guests to present their take on new ideas for reaching audiences in this online context. So I'd first of all like to appreciate the fact that both of them are in Europe and it's just before midnight there. So having stopped in with us is even extra special. So this is John Lee and
hi guys.
Paolo is somewhere. I guess we're on 2 pages now.
How's everybody?
Yeah, Paolo's on. So you guys could toss a coin about who goes first, but let me see. H-I-G-K-L-M-N-O-P. So I guess first name, alphabetical. John, you're elected. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
Okay, great. So John and I met last week. I was really enthusiastic to hear from him about what he's thinking. So take it away, John, and you can use screen sharing or whatever you care. Yep.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Chris, for the invitation as well. And how is everybody?
Good. Sheltered.
Sheltered. All right. Can anybody see my screen?
Yep.
Yep. Wonderful. Okay, well, welcome to the new concept of home entertainment, right? It's just my logo. It's a project that I started just this month, and I'm really happy and enthusiastic to share this with you guys. First of all, before I start, this is kind of my bio. At the moment, I am living in Germany, in Dusseldorf. I work for Trivago Hotel Relations. I have specialized in digital marketing and digital strategies. I'm learning at current times a lot about streaming, and I guess a lot of you also are learning a lot of things concerning about streaming. That that is the future, and obviously during these times, difficult times, I would say, it's definitely going to be part of our day-to-day life to kind of have a social interaction, if that kind of can say, right? I'm originally from Peru. So I don't know if you guys been to Machu Picchu or to South America before, but I was born in Peru. I was raised in the US, in Tampa, Florida. That's why my English is more American than British, even though I live here in Europe. I then moved to Spain to do my master's, and then I moved to London. Been living 3 years in London, and yeah, so now I'm here enjoying the German life, right? So how does this project began before? As I was, I consider myself being an expert on digital marketing, right? And I was just thinking, how can I help now in these difficult times, right? And I said, okay, so the two main industries at the moment that have been impacted, right? Obviously, I work in the travel industry, and for Trivago, Expedia, and all these companies, it is a difficult time. So the travel industry, obviously, it's the most affected, and obviously the events. And by events, it's a very broad understanding of what is events, but obviously the music industry, the theater industry, and et cetera, right? But sorry. Okay, so and then I started thinking about what can we do digitally for travel industry and what can we do for events, right? So for travel, it's very, very difficult to bring an experience, right, through streaming, or you cannot really bring the Eiffel Tower to you, right, unless you're doing like a VR or something similar, right? So I kind of say, okay, travel is going to be very, very difficult. So how about events? So now you can see at the moment that Zoom has been a very big hit, right? Before, and nobody knew what Zoom was. Everybody was using Skype, I bet, or Messenger or other platforms that was not Zoom. And Zoom just became a boom, right, for the social life, for working at home and everything. And even now that there's webinars has been existing for more than 5 years, webinars for events, and then other things that now we're starting to use, right? So then I said, okay, let's focus on maybe the music part, right? So how about, there's two types of in the music industry, and you guys know this, it's more about you either work with the big guys, right? Like Coldplay, the Killers, or you're just kind of an independent musician, right? That this is your life, and you normally play, sell you record, you sell your album, or maybe you play in a bar, or you play in some type of an event, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And then I shrunk it from independent musician to where do people normally socialize, right? So, okay, big events it's massive, but what about the independent ones that just go to bars, for example, and they have maybe 100 fans? I'm not saying about thousands of fans, maybe like 50 fans or 100 fans or 1,000 fans, but these are small, right? What about these guys? And then I said, wait a minute, but in bars, we also have stand-up comedy, don't we? Right? I don't know if you've seen the Joker, but the Joker was in a bar, for example, right? He was doing his stand-up comedy. So I said, okay, perfect. So we can do this also for comedians or stand-up comedies that has to do with not the necessarily, it is part of the theater, but it's a different type of theater, one-to-one kind of thing, right? So that also works perfectly. So then I also saw online these things happening, right? I don't know if you know, obviously I think you guys know who Chris Martin is, but Chris Martin is the vocal singer for Coldplay. He started when the whole coronavirus thing started to talk about together at home, right? So he just put his smartphone, and he started filming, and he started engaging with his fans, and becoming kind of an influencer. He has been an influencer, but I mean, like, he's more engaged with his fans, right? And his fans started asking him to play these music, and he started playing them. So he started this kind of more personalized concept by streaming, right? And then other people, for example, this one is a comedian from the US. This is a girl playing garage at her garage. This is a Peruvian guy that he lives in the US, and he plays Christian music, for example. This is a DJ, and this is a random picture that I selected. That is a person that's kind of doing all the production at home and etc. Right? So, you guys. So then I said, okay, okay, perfect. I got my segment. I know what to do. I know what I want to do. I know what I want to accomplish. I know who I want to help. And then I created this concept called Munay Kay Pacha, right? So Munay Kay Pacha is a Quechua name from Peru. So all the Andines, we have obviously Spanish, but we also speak Quechua, right? And it's kind of it's losing in time, because only like 5% of the population in Latin America probably speaks Quechua. But anyway, so Munay means in Quechua the power of love, and Caipacha means this world, this earth, right? So the power of love in this world. And this concept that I wanted to do was to create a nonprofit group that we want to help independent musicians and comedians to earn an extraordinary income, right? Because they're not going to go to the bar anymore, because nobody's going to go to the bar. They're not going to do busking. I don't know if you heard this terminology in the US, but in London is very famous busking. Busking is basically what this guy is doing here, for example, right? So basically, give them an extra income, right? And bring in a new concept of entertainment to homes in Latin America, especially during the COVID-19 crisis, right? And right now, I really want to thank Oriana Montilla, because Oriana Montilla is a volunteer. She's a great graphic designer. She's specialized. She's helped create the concept and the design wise. So we have volunteers as well, right? So our style of entertainment, right, basically is two things. One is it's a live stream, yes, but you're going to be able to monetize, right? Because a lot of musicians right now need to monetize, especially if this is going to last 6 months, maybe 18 months, if what they say that it's going to take to bring out the vaccine and start our normal socializing life in concerts, events, bars, etc., right? So at the end, we need to monetize. And how do we monetize this at this moment? Is through donations. And this started off as a concept, going back to what I was showing you here as busking, right? When I was living in London, one of the things that I really enjoyed was just going around London, and in every corner you see musicians or artists just doing what they know the best, and it was wonderful, and they don't ask anything in exchange, just a donation. So I said, wonderful, right? So that's how it started off, like to give donations virtually, right? So everything is now virtually. You can use different types of platforms to send donations, $5, $1, $10, whatever. At the end, everything sums up. Something is better than nothing, right? So this concept of entertainment, the idea is to have at least 2 sessions per day, at least 30 minutes, right? Each session. And obviously to plan this out with 1 week in advance, so that next week new musician can the people would know what is coming up in the lineup, who's the musician, what type of genre for the music, if it's pop, if it's rock, if it's Latin music, if it's hip hop, whatever. Okay, so our viewers just needed access to internet, computer, smartphones, tablets. Basically, I'm starting at the moment with Peru, but gradually I'm starting to get some contacts from people that I've seen some things, some publicity organically, because I haven't invested anything, because as I said, we don't have any budget, right? In Colombia, Ecuador, Chile, Argentina, right? And obviously our target is millennials between 26 and 40 years old. Okay, our main channels of communication is obviously Facebook mainly. Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn is just to communicate, but we would use Facebook Live, for example, right? So our commitment, right, as Munay Kay Pacha, is we are consultants, right? The thing is that now musicians, their specialty is more music, right? They're not, unless you're an influencer, unless you have, you're a big ranked musician, maybe you have somebody that manages your social media, etc. But most independent are not that tech friendly with when it comes down to social media, right? So we become a consultant to line up their digital strategy. We help them set up donation account, promoting it during the live session and recording. We prepare the communication design and promote the live session. We manage and train to use the live stream platform, share recorded sessions on our social media, and promote them in Latin America and other countries in Latin America, right? The only thing that I'm asking in exchange with them is, one is for them to promote our initiative in their social network, right? The other thing is to recommend with other musicians and comedians who wants to participate with me, so that I can help them out and they can also become part of the community that I'm creating. They cannot sponsor any type of brand, obviously, and they have to use appropriate language during their transmission, unless probably if they have a song that is a little bit obviously with bad words, okay, but it's just trying to maintain the tone, right? And then share with us the future recording of your live sessions that you managed to do on your own, authorizing us to share it on our social media. And obviously, since I'm creating them the account of donations, the donations has to be very transparent. Like I'm not doing it for a legal reason. It's more about, like, I want to see how well did the campaign or how well did the initiative come out on the monetized side, right? I don't care if it's maybe $50 or maybe $1,000. At the end, it's important to see how successful was your campaign, right? And obviously a positive attitude. Now I'm going to show you really quickly, right? I'm almost finished, guys. I'm going to show you very quickly what a band rehearsal I had, right? And I was hearing at the beginning of the conversation with you guys that yes, latency is a big issue, right? Especially since you're not in the same space, right? So yes, we have had this type of issue. If you're a band, if you're an independent person, just one person, it's no problem. It's very, very straightforward. But if it's obviously a band, it's a little bit tricky because there's not a lot of softwares that reduce a lot of latency. There are like probably 2 or 3, but not a lot, right? And it obviously depends a lot on your distance, and it depends a lot on your modem, your internet speed, etc., etc. So I'm just gonna put how they sound with a latency of about, I would say 300, okay? More or less.
I'm not hearing any sound from this video.
No sound, right? Give me a minute.
Still no sound. Still no sound.
Hey, John, I can't really hear anything, but if you re-shared and then click that little box that says share computer sound, maybe that'll work.
Which one?
If you exit screen sharing again on the top of your screen, and then
Exit?
go, exit, then press share again on the bottom middle, and then on the bottom left, you should see the little thing saying
perfect.
share.
Thank you. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Can you guys hear it now? Let me see. Can you hear it now?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Era mi piel junto a tu piel, mi piel junto a tu piel, cardón o ceniza. Mi espacio frente al tuyo. ¿Cómo será?
Okay, so as you guys can see, even the expression of their faces is horrible because you can see that they're not synchronized and they're suffering to see when they have to be in the right moment at the right time with the music, right? So that was one of our biggest challenges at the moment, for example, for bands, right? And yeah, that is it at the moment. I don't know if you guys have any questions or any feedback.